On November 18th, 2015, the building of the Union Baptist Church had degenerated to the point that the building department of New York City closed the building, issuing a full vacate order. 2 days later, Michael Newberger and I were at the Forensic Control Unit trying to discuss with the Department of Buildings how to sort out the mess that had become the Union Baptist Church. Our greatest issue was water infiltration. The roof had failed many years ago, threatening even the structural integrity of the building. Our first emergency repair was the outside pier and the brickwork. Then the back wall, the vines had grown up and destroyed the integrity of the wall, even missing a portion of it, and that had to be completely scaffolded and rebuilt. And God blessed in miraculous fashion. The next was the roof, installed in 1908 of pure asbestos. $56,000 later, we were able to have the roof abated. We had to check everything inside the building. There were some cracks that had to be addressed and supported, and nearly 300 cubic yards of debris removed from the building. June 2016, we began the major work. That meant scaffolding. Some of the work we could do ourselves, but much of it had to be hired. It was over $40,000 in scaffolding just to get access to do the work. With the help of independent Baptist builders, we were able to repair the rot, and unbelievably, a great deal of the roof deck was still intact from 1863. Another crew came up from Texas, and within 2 weeks, we had the shingles on the roof. Another several weeks was putting up the copper trim and finishing it to complete all of the landmark requirements. While the roof repair was going on, water got in and destroyed the bathrooms completely. This required us to rebuild the only part of the building that had escaped major damage. As we progressed in the work, at least 5 separate occasions brought us to question how the building was even standing, let alone how we would repair it. God enabled us not only to repair it, but to build it back better than it was, tying in the loose brick and bringing the building back to where it would survive for the future. Then came the roofs on top of the towers. The asbestos had to be removed, and then we had to re-engineer the entire building of the roof. There was loose brick. We had to rebuild the cornice piece by piece, all according to landmark specifications and approval. Everything had to be hauled 50 feet in the air and assembled in place. If we had not had the extra help of the independent Baptist builders, it would have been a daunting task. But we praise the Lord that we finished that work. It was now fall of 2016, and we had completed everything that was on the vacate order, and we were ready to call for an inspection. The inspector came, we removed all the major violations, and his final statement was, "I can't open the building until you fix the inside." We understood that we could not hold services in the building in the condition that it was in, and began rebuilding the inside. Each part of the building had to be evaluated: floors, walls, ceilings. And with each evaluation came a new set of nightmares that had to be dealt with. Praise the Lord, we had the help of a good engineer and work crews from Cleveland Baptist Church and from Coleman, Alabama, to work with us each step of the way. When we got to the front of the building, we found out termites had destroyed 2 of the main supports, and they had to be replaced. Of course, most of this work was done by hand. Yet the Lord blessed and protected, not one major injury in the entire rebuilding process. And the building began to take shape. The floor went in, the walls went up. We then vapor barrier and insulated, and was able to rebuild the boiler rooms and bring everything up to the way it ought to be. We had the entire ceiling donated, and a friend came down from Connecticut to help us install it. And for the first time in many years, the Union Baptist Church began to look like a church. But even as our hopes were raised for the reopening of the building, new challenges awaited us. The entire electrical system had to be replaced from the street into the building. Every inch of wire had to be redone. There were doors that had not been used in decades, blocking egress into the building that had to be replaced. There was no heat, and so an entirely brand new heating system had to be done with building department approval. We were able to restore the room dividers, keeping a little bit of the history of the building alive. The reinspection of the building on December 13th restored the full use of the building to the Union Baptist Church.
We reopened the church just before Christmas of 2017 and enjoyed a special joint service with the Open Door Bible Baptist Church to celebrate all that God has done. We are also having a special rededication service in early 2018. Our future plans include renovating the upstairs auditorium and installing a pastor's parsonage apartment in the building. Thank you for your continued prayers and support.